Hi, I'm Ray. Well, it's Sunday and I'm down the allotment in the polytunnel and first day off, and it's going to rain 9 o'clock, which is great. So I brought down my tomatoes. These are the ones we had in the greenhouse we bought for 50p. So I'm going to plant these in the greenhouse. We've got Alicante and Ailsa Craig. But one of my jobs to do first of all, before I start that, is I need to weed. Look at the state of these beds. So my plan for this year is I'm going to grow my tomatoes around an arch. I've got these two Wilco arches. One year I've used these for the pumpkins and that was a great success. But this year I'm going to grow my tomatoes, and I'm thinking I might grow one tomato either side of the arch. But first of all, I have to do some weeding. My bed is full of weeds. And this is what happens when you don't look after your beds. So my first job, weed. So I'll come back when this is all done. Got a few random tomatoes here. I'm going to find a pot. Put these in a pot so we can grow them on. So the beds in the polytunnel are no dig beds, and we've just got thistles and these weeds, and they pull out really easy. And I call these fat hen. I don't know the proper name, but every time I pull one out I have to say fat hen. Don't know why. Fat hen. Most of these just pull out with a single pull. So after 1 hour, I've de-weeded all of this left bed, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buckets of weeds just from this area here. But pleased it's all done. We've actually saved a couple of tomato plants, and we put them in a pot to keep them safe. Right, so I've sorted a plan. I've got my two arches, I've moved them in slightly so I can get a taller arch. And I'm going to plant 2 tomatoes on each arch. I'm going to do the same ones either side. And the first ones are going to be in a pot. And I'm going to grow them on the outside just to give them a bit more space. So I'm going to do Alicante one side, and they're going to meet over on the other side, so matching. And then I'm going to do Ailsa Craig. And I'm going to do Ailsa Craig on that side, and then 2 other ones in the middle, and they're all going to meet at the top. So I'm using these halos, and they're great for watering. They've got holes in the tray. You put your tomato in here, you water in the tray, and then the plants don't get wet, as tomatoes don't like being wet. So I'm going to grow in the halos. I've got some compost. So the rain has stopped and it's got warm again. So I've got my halo, I've got my tomato plant, and I've marked my space. I'm just going to dig a small trench, small hole where it's going to go. I'm just going to give it a bit of a water. This polytunnel does get quite wet inside, so I'm not too worried. But I'm just going to give it a water. And then we're going to put our halo over the top. We'll firm it down. And there we go. And then we've got our tomato plant. This is Alicante. I bought these a week ago for 50p. And they were like bendy, winding. Check out the video, I potted them up. So I put them in this big pot. They've been in there 1 week. And they're already doing really well. So the art of the halo is we can plant the tomato really, really deep. And there won't be much roots from when we potted them up. And that's you can see it's already grown bigger than what the small pot was. And now I'm just going to place this right at the bottom where my hole was and my water, and I'm going to fill it back up with the compost. You can use grow bag, which would be really good. I've got a mixture of the compost and a grow bag, and I'm planting it right up near enough to the first stem. It's a good idea not to get it in the halo, as it's going to block up the holes. And it's one of those jobs difficult to do. There we go. So that's my first tomato, and that's Alicante. I'm going to get it towards this pole. We can tie it towards the pole, but you can stick a cane in the halo. You can use 3 canes, just 1 cane, or in the polytunnel, some string hanging down. I'm going to try and get some of this compost out of the tray. It's going to block the holes. But there we go. That's the first one. I'm going to do the same on the opposite side, and then the same with the Ailsa Craig. Once the roots have been in the soil, watering is a case of just watering the tray, and that's it. But while the roots are getting established, I'm just going to give it a little water in the top for a week or 2 until it gets established. And there we go. First tomato planted in the polytunnel. An alternative from using halo is use a flower pot. Same process. Bury it, plant the tomato plant deep as you can, and it gives it a nice long pot to grow through. And that's cheap as cheerful, no cost at all, just an old pot. I'm just going to get on and plant the other 3, and then maybe plant some bonuses. So let's get on. So there we go. few hours work in the polytunnel while it's raining. We got our tomatoes, 4 lots of tomatoes in, a couple of randomers in, so really pleased. Bed's tidied, good job done. So let me know in the comments, have you got your tomatoes in the greenhouse in the polytunnel yet? And do you use the halos? Let me know. I use the flower pots. My old dad used to use the flower pot, and that was a great idea. We got the halos when we got the allotment here, they were already here. So I use them and they're really good. So thanks for watching. New to my channel, please subscribe, ring that bell, get notifications when I post some more. Cheers!